We're back with more Chacra. 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 Argentina. Argentina. Who knew that Argentina would make some of the greatest Chardonnay on the planet? Wines that can rival Burgundy so much that even the top guys in Burgundy come out and go, what the hell's going on down here? And fortunately, one of the greatest producers in Burgundy did just that. But you know, he's buddies with Chacra owner Piero Incisa della Rocchetta. And Piero was like, he's like, I want to do Chardonnay. And of course, him and this guy, name dropping, Jean-Marc Roulot, him and JM were hanging out. And I think he just kind of asked, you know, hey, you want to make Chardonnay down in Argentina? And he was like, let's go take a look. And he looked and he's like, hell yeah, let's do this. And they do this. I think people don't quite realize just how intertwined Jean-Marc is in this project. He's very involved because, you know, we have the two different harvest zones, right? So JM Roulot can play a little bit down here and actually have a lot more than just a casual say. For example, this wine, you know, Roulot's kind of given up some of his secrets to Piero. The same barrels, right? So there's the barrel regimen that Roulot has. The pressing regimen, the secrets to how you press, when you press, how hard, how soft. That's all been lightly, wonderfully shifted to this wine. JM's mojo. He's there during harvest, probably. You know, he's making it happen, Captain. The vineyard work. Well, all the vineyard work now is fully organic and biodynamic. This particular wine, at least it used to, I think it still does, comes from a parcel of 40-plus-year-old grafted vines in the Lunita vineyard. And the Lunita, we sold a bunch of Lunita Pinot to you just the other day. This is one of their top sites that it wasn't the 32 or the 55, but it was a site that needed a little love and care and needed, you know, 8 to 10 years of rehabilitation, and all of a sudden it's producing some of their best fruit. So they do make a bigger deal Chardonnay, and it's like $100 and something a bottle. The fancier one, this is the Chacra Chardonnay. But this is the Chacra Mainqué that comes from this particular site. And second wine? No. It's just an alternative Chardonnay. It's one of the two Chardonnays they produce. It's not a second wine. It's priced less, but don't let that tell you that it's a second wine, because it's not. It's not like it all comes from one vineyard and they declassified half and it's all young vines and bullshit. No. There's a single patch of old vine Chardonnay. Roulot barrels, Roulot making the wine, Roulot handling the press details, Roulot. Now, this Jam Roulot guy, huh? Some of you guys might not know who he is. He is, in fact, to some people, the greatest producer of white wine on planet Earth. He's based in Meursault, in the Burgundy region of France, and his top wines retail in the thousands of dollars per bottle and are impossible to get. I've been in this business a long time. In the last 10, 15 years, I've seen bupkis. They basically all go to the top Michelin restaurants on the planet, maybe a few private customers he's had a long-standing relationship with. Other than that, I don't know where the wines go. And why is he a big deal? Well, let's dig into this wine. The transparency, the that unbearable lightness of terroir, that you feel like you're there in the vineyard when you taste his wines. The transparency allied with a style that is both rich yet vertical and incredibly laser beam focused. That's what created the Roulot. These are good. This is special. And you know, Roulot, the family's always made special wines for decades. But Jean-Marc's ability in the cellar, in the vineyard, his technique, as well as his grape growing and farming, all combined to make his wines some of the most compelling wines on the face of the planet. And then when you attach that to one of the great unheralded areas for Chardonnay on the planet, which is now being discovered thanks to Piero and Jean-Marc. You have something really, really special at a much better price. So let's dig in. Hits your palate immediately. This rush of nuts, marzipan, apple, tropicals. All of it goes rushing straight through the palate, man. Zowie! This wine is, I read a few different reports. I think about 70% of it's done in barrels, and the other 30%, some say it's all amphora. I've seen a mix of steel and amphora, and maybe cement, but at least 70% of it is aged in barrel, but only a touch of new oak. There's about 12% of those Roulot barrels, new Roulot barrels, in the program. Which, you know, Roulot doesn't use 100% new oak on everything. So the same kind of process. And they've been doing this wine for a few years now. So what's happened is they have the barrel regimen that's probably almost exactly as the same as the cellar at Roulot's. Huh? So this is pretty special stuff. I'm telling you. The symmetry and the balance, the richness with that tanginess, that energy. It's ethereal, haunting. Absolutely exquisite wine. So much so that James Suckling himself made it his #1 Argentine wine of the year. That's kind of a big deal. I'm going to tell you why. Jim Suckling works a lot with Argentina. He probably tastes more wines from Argentina, him and his team, taste and review more wines from Argentina than probably any other periodical out there, to be honest. And they were on it early. You know, they were on it a decade ago, 10, 15 years ago, 12 years ago. Jim was already down there pounding the pavement looking for the great wines. And he's done a great job of finding them and talking about them. And to his palate, this is the best Mainqué ever. It's 97 points. And again, you know, the higher score one could have won the accolades. It could have been the #1 wine easily, but he chose this wine for a reason. And I think the reason he chose it is because it's so good and delivers such incomparable value for the quality. When I talk about value, this wine's $60, right? So you think $60 for Argentina Chardonnay? Shut the front door, honey! I'm getting out of here. No, you have to think of it in the context of great Chardonnay on a global scale. What would you pay for the base Meursault from Roulot? $400? $500 a bottle? Right? You got the man right here making the wine. Ingrained in the experience. Can you get a Roulot wine for $60? No, you cannot. Can you get one for $120? Maybe if you know somebody and there's a bottle of Bourgogne Blanc floating around, maybe. That's what we're talking about. That's the level of value that we're talking about here. We're not comparing this wine to Kendall Jackson. We're comparing it to the greatest Chardonnay wines in the world. And at that level, this one is a deal. 97 points, James Suckling's #1 Argentine wine of the year, and one of the greatest bottles of Mainqué I've ever had, made by one of the greatest producers of Chardonnay on planet Earth. Click, buy this wine. Then like us and subscribe.